Hi, good morning. This is Bob Cerami. It is now August 30th, 2020, and what a year we've had so far. It's like no other, I think, that any of us could have imagined. As we move into the end times, don't you think things will get a little bit more uncomfortable? Maybe that's what we're experiencing. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in upstate New York and New Jersey, graduated high school in northern Jersey, and moved upstate New York to work my family's villa. It was a resort in the Catskills, and then I left that and I became a pastor for a church plant in Kingston, New York, where I stayed until 2000. I resigned and then I moved out to California. It's now 2020, and it's been 20 years since I've spoken publicly. I've been in the wilderness with God, spending a lot of time with Him, experiencing His love in a way that I wish you could experience, and I hope you do. I've written 3 books, and they are about how anyone can approach the kingdom of heaven and God and sit at the face of God. And the first one is a 2-book set. It's called To the Ends of the Earth. And the first one is a spiritual journey to God's holy mountain. And that's about my experiences and coming to the place where I could see the gates of heaven. And the second is about how to ascend that mountain. You see that the mountain becomes more clear as your eyes open and you mature in the things of God. So this book is about ascension, ascending the mountain of God, coming into the gates of heaven, walking through the gates, and coming to the throne of God. And the book I wrote while I've been here in California and published is The One Thing and Secret of Life. And that's more focused on you finding the pathway to heaven. The one thing is the first commandment, to love God above all else, which means to focus above this world, to walk up the pathways that lead to heaven and to sit at the throne. And it's a how-to guide. It's biblically based on the kingdom of heaven and how to approach those things. So today I want to talk about a prophecy, the wheat and the tares, that Jesus gave. It's in Matthew 13, 24 to 30. And Jesus told them a parable. The kingdom of heaven is like, and when he says kingdom of heaven, it's the principles of God and how we should live here on earth, who sowed good seed in his field. And the good seed is the wheat. And the good seed are those that are God's children. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came in and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. And when the wheat sprouted and formed heads, the weeds also appeared. The owners came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you give us good seed in your field? Where did the weeds come from?" And the weeds are the tares. And the servants asked, the owner said, "An enemy did this," he replied. And the servants asked, "Do you want us to pull them up?" And he said, "No, because while you're pulling up the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let them grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds, tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring them into my barn." So, in that parable, the field is America, one nation under God. No matter what you believe, you get to live under the blessings and covering of God in America. It doesn't matter. You don't have to believe in God. You still get to live under the blessings in this field called America. And you get to experience His love and glory, even though you don't understand what it is. America has been prophesied in the Bible throughout. In the Old Testament, it was called the land of milk and honey, the promised land. Jesus also said that He was coming back for the lost of Israel. The lost of Israel were 10 tribes and never came back to Jerusalem. They migrated up through Europe, and they became a Christian nation, which migrated to America to escape religious persecution. So America was founded under those principles, Judeo-biblical principles of Christian values. We call that God and country, one nation under God. Those are the wheat. The tares are those that hate that want to tear it down. And the enemy are the dark forces that are opposed to the things of heaven. Those who have been trying to remove God from this country, since I can remember, since I grew up, they've been trying to take God out of prayer, out of the courtrooms, out of everywhere. And I don't understand why, because it doesn't hurt you. We're not. I know there's religions that are a little bit obnoxious and they try to push their way on you, but that's not what true godly people are about. True godly people are about loving you for who you are, accepting you for who you are, and not pushing their agenda on you. They will grow together until the harvest. Now, when the wheat and the tares mature, there's a definite difference between the two. The wheat will turn golden, and the tares will turn darker or black and stand taller, like arrogant pride over the wheat. And the tares are poisonous. And what we're experiencing in America right now, as we are approaching harvest time, is a clear differentiation between the two. There's a separation going on. It's more easily seen than it was in the past. When the enemy came and sowed the seed, we Americans were asleep. We weren't paying attention to what was going on. And the enemy infiltrated all of our systems, our judicial system, our education system, all the foundation stones of America, and try to undermine that and get in and change the laws of America, changed the Constitution of America. If you're a grain of wheat, you need to pray harder, and you need to stand up for what is right in America. Don't be scared to speak up. Do not be silenced. If you're a tare, God has a conversion plan for you. All you have to do is lay your arrogant pride at the cross and open your heart, and you will feel the golden glow of God's love. Your heart will turn golden. So that's what I believe is happening in America right now. That's the difference between the wheat and tares and what God is revealing. And I hope you'll get on the right side of this, or else you'll get left behind.